In our society, loneliness is usually seen from the negative side. A lonely person appears in our minds as a sad, abandoned, and sullen wanderer who could not find shelter. But I want to say that this is only one side of loneliness, and quite dramatic. Some people naturally prefer time alone, and that can be fine. Roughly 50% of the population can be categorized as introverts, meaning they get the most value in life out of time spent on their own. Being alone can offer a rich psychological experience, but too much isolation can have a negative impact on both one's physical and mental health. In this video, we will consider the negative impact and positive sides of the status to be alone. But before starting, I would like to ask you to follow my YouTube channel. I will be happy for your any support. Let's start with the advantages of being alone. Being alone allows our brains to recharge. Our brains need balance. While social interactions are crucial to certain areas of brain activity, time alone is necessary for our brains to unwind and recharge. Constantly being on doesn't give your brain a chance to rest and replenish itself. Being by yourself with no distractions gives you the chance to clear your mind, focus, and think more clearly. It's an opportunity to revitalize your mind and body at the same time. Being alone increases productivity. Let's face it, people can be pretty distracting. When you remove as many distractions and interruptions as you can from your day, you are better able to concentrate, which will help you get more work done in a shorter amount of time. Small interruptions from coworkers or family members can disrupt our trains of thought and make it difficult to get back into a project. Even the ping of a text message or an email notification can throw off our concentration and reduce productivity. Being alone boosts creativity. Creativity tends to flourish in solitude. Studies are now showing that people are actually more likely to come up with their best ideas on their own, rather than during group brainstorming sessions. Human beings in general, and creativity in particular, are sensitive to criticism from others, which is one reason why so many of us are able to think more freely and express ourselves more clearly when we are alone. Additionally, the lack of interruption from others allows us to reflect and think differently, leading to more creative metacognitions. Being alone can actually strengthen relationships with others. There are several reasons why spending some time alone can actually improve our relationships. Differentiation. It means to be a separate, autonomous individual. And linkage, being emotionally and physically close. Both these reasons are essential ingredients for a healthy relationship. Maintaining a certain level of independence helps keep the spark alive in a relationship. Furthermore, time alone allows us to appreciate our time with others more, rather than taking it for granted or feeling overwhelmed by it. Alone time can also help us understand others better. Introverts tend to have high levels of both empathy and self-awareness, two qualities that contribute to healthy relationships with others. By spending time with yourself and gaining a better understanding of who you are and what you desire in life, you're more likely to make better choices about who you want to be around. Here we considered the pros of loneliness. Now let's consider the cons of being alone. Being alone can lead to painful loneliness. It is important to distinguish between time spent happily alone and time spent feeling lonely. Neuroscientists define loneliness as perceived social isolation, or the discrepancy between what you want from your social relationships and your perception of those relationships. In this sense, loneliness is not defined by the amount of time we spend alone, but rather by how we feel about the time we spend alone. Feeling lonely can trigger feelings of being unloved or unlikable, which can lead us to turn on ourselves. Feeling lonely is actually painful on a physical level, as well as emotional level. The absence of social connection triggers the same primal alarm bells as hunger, thirst, and physical pain. Think about it. Being alone can lead to depression. Time spent alone and feeling lonely can lead to depression. In fact, studies now show that a lonely brain is structurally and biochemically different. When someone is lonely, their neural responses to positive images and events get suppressed, so the world is perceived through a negative filter. We are more likely to believe that things are hopeless when we are lonely. This makes it more difficult to summon up the energy and bravery to find happiness and change. Being alone can be bad for our health. Too much time alone is bad for our physical health. Studies have found that social isolation and loneliness can increase the likelihood of mortality by up to 30%. Researchers claim being socially connected is not only influential for psychological and emotional well-being, but it also has a significant and positive influence on physical well-being and overall longevity. It is important to maintain strong social connections, even if you prefer to spend the majority of your time alone. So, what we have for the conclusion? While human beings need time alone to allow their brains to rest and rejuvenate, too much time alone or a lack of social connections can be harmful to our mental and physical health. It is important to distinguish between healthy time alone, where we are being productive, creative, and introspective, versus negative time alone, where we are being self-critical or feeling lonely. If you find yourself constantly around others and feeling depleted, make sure to schedule some healthy alone time. If you find yourself predominantly alone or are feeling lonely, make sure to invest more time seeking meaningful social connections. Whether you are an introvert or an extrovert, it is important to find the right balance for you. I hope you found yourself a useful message on this topic, and this will help you to keep the right balance. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. See you.